Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome on board on Arctic Europe Tourism Cluster Project's Tech Week. And today we'll be diving into Arctic tourism and the law. So here today we have as our expert Ville Niemijärvi from Flowhouse. In case we haven't met yet, my name is Marika Tiikkaja, and I'm one of the project managers for the project Arctic Europe Tourism Cluster, also known as AETC. We are an Interreg Aurora funded project promoting the cross-border cooperation between Finland, Sweden, and Norway in the northern parts, and especially within tourism and travel. Today, the arena will be taken by Ville, so he will be your expert today. And without further ado, I'm going to give the virtual floor to him. I will be popping in a few useful links to you in the chat. And like mentioned, in case of questions, feel free to use your microphone for questions and comments, but don't hesitate to write them into the chat as well. I will be assisting Ville on reading your questions and comments from there. But Ville, welcome. Let's go again.
Thanks a lot, Marika, and hello everyone. Some of you I already met this morning and also on Monday. Nice to see you all here again. And my name is Ville Niemijärvi. Just a second, I will share my screen and put the presentation on. And if Marika, you can give some kind of signal that the presentation is on.
Yes, it is.
Good. Okay, so welcome again. To this afternoon's subject is AI in Arctic tourism and the law. So basically, what is allowed, what is changing, what you must know, and what is prohibited, what you cannot do with AI. And this is 1.5 hour. We might end a bit earlier. The first one in the morning went a few minutes overboard. So now I think we can stick to the subject. Just a few words about me, Ville Niemijärvi from Flowhouse. You can contact me, ville.niemijärvi@flowhouse.fi, and please feel free to contact in LinkedIn also. I have been working 25 years in the data and analytics, and also in the travel business since 2018. Today, our subject is law and ethics. And we're going to go through some regulations. We're going to go through a European Union AI Act and what that means, what is allowed and what is prohibited. Then we're going to go through GDPR and handling personal data and what you must know and what are the actions you need to do if you are handling personal data. And one important part of that is so-called DPIA. And this is a risk-based analysis of the risks, what could happen and how you work towards minimizing those risks to happen when you handle personal data. So how to conduct so-called DPIA. We have few practices about compliance. We go through 3 different examples: HR agents, data analysis, and chatbots in a tourism sector, and we identify the risk level and we identify what are the needed compliance steps. And we take a short look about what are the actual penalties and have there been consequences of neglecting these laws yet. So let's move forward. And like Marika said, you can put your mic on in case you have something to say. Otherwise, keep it shut down. But if you have something to say, you can just shout out there, Ville, I have a question, and you can write on the chat. I'm happy to answer the questions and have a dialogue here. This is a bit. I won't kind of undermine it. I want to say it in the beginning that this is a bit of a tricky subject. It's something that we can and we have handled. My background, I have been last 2 years selling AI, it's machine vision solution to hospitals. We have customers in Norway, in Rana municipality. We have them in Sweden, in Region Kalmar. We have them 90 different countries, the company that I present. And there's cameras in hospitals and elder care facilities where AI is detecting vulnerable people, and if they fall, the camera will detect and send an alarm to the nurses. So very, very, very private. It's 100 ways more private than anything we are talking about now. And we are now in 10 countries, and it's used with thousands of customers. And there are 15 competitors also in Norway, in Sweden, in Denmark, and so on. So in the Nordics. So we can handle personal information. We can use AI with very secure data. I mean, hospitals, people's homes, but there are laws and there are restrictions to protect people. And that's why I want to say that it's a bit tricky subject, but it's something that we can handle because we have handled that in the hospital area, so we can handle it in tourism. So don't be afraid. So first, introduction why law and ethics matter. We talk about ethics on Monday, so now we will focus on the law side. But first, well, you're the experts there. Tourism attracts quite a lot of public attention. We have fragile Arctic environment. Tourism itself is often in the newspapers, and there's a lot of flying, there's a lot of environmental effect. Local people are affected there, and there's a lot of attention, much more attention than, let's say, data consulting. I can do it whatever I want, and nobody writes a newspaper article about me. And at the same time, technology, AI, it enables powerful tools. We can build chatbots like we did this morning. We can give travel recommendation per customer segment. We can do data-driven marketing. But all this requires personal data. Not always, but in many cases, if we want to do data-driven marketing, if we want to do customer segmentation, we need to have personal data. And there are legal risks like privacy breaches, there's discrimination and misuse of profiling. And there can be kind of ethical misuse, and this can damage both communities and your business reputation. So I believe that the law and both ethics, they provide kind of backbone that protect travelers, they protect the local community, but also protect your companies. So don't take law and ethics like something that's something boring and something we need to do and that restrict us. I believe, like I said in Monday webinar, this is something that we can use as a power in European Union and in EU that gives us kind of a competitive advantage, because it's a big thing that people can trust. Well, they come to Nordics, they come to Norway, they come to Sweden, they come to Finland. People around the world, they say that, oh, it's so safe here. The air is clean, and I can walk in the middle of the night or in the dark time. So we need to that same safety and trust also bring to the digital services that we provide. So that's why law and ethics matter. On Monday, I showed this screen, what is ethical AI, and also beyond compliance. We talk about ethics there and human-centered, transparent, culture aware. And now we're going to talk about this compliance part here, the left-hand side here. So let's focus on that. I showed this morning, and this is kind of the way we're going forward and towards. These are actual use cases that we have defined with different customers, hotel chains in Lapland, southern Finland, tour operators and DMOs, destination marketing offices. And we have defined, and the customers want to create different kind of agents. There are orientation agents for new employees. There's HR, human resource agent. They want to analyze, they want to predict retirement of their staff, so they know when to hire more staff. If you have hundreds of people all around your country, they might analyze competence profiles, salary information, that stuff that HR does. And then there's finance analysis. Maybe CEO wants to do budget estimation, cash flow analysis, and so on. Marketing wants to analyze customer base, so they can do the kind of profiling, customer segmentation, and then tailor their message based on those different customer segments. And of course, we might have AI chatbots like we did this morning that we want to publish to external customers. All these agents need data sources, and these data here are in different systems, which we need to then bring to the to AI. And in this case, we might give secure critical information, also including personal information, to chatbots or agent or Gen AI tools that should not be there. So when we are moving the data for these use cases, we need to look at the law, and that is European Union AI Act and GDPR, the two most important ones. So this is just a background why we are doing this, because customers want to build these kind of things. They are excited, but then we need to look at the law that, okay, hey, let's do it so that it's safe also for the customer. So here is an example how easy you can make GDPR violation. So here's a marketing manager. They saw Ville's training this morning, and they saw that, okay, it's so easy to segment our customers. I saw the consultant there did a example that they drag customer information from the CRM system or booking system. And I want to do the same. I want to pick up the customers added this year. I want to use AI to create an email for them based on their services that they have purchased. So what they do, they take the customer database, the booking system, there's the personal information, and they put it in ChatGPT Plus version or the free version. And what happens here? The company loses control over the processing of personal data because it goes to ChatGPT. It can go to Gemini, it can go to Copilot. It doesn't matter. And with the free version or the plus version, there's no so-called data processing agreement, DPIA. So there's no contractual agreement that the data is handled safely. And there's no agreement that who's handling the data. There's no agreement that the data is not going outside European Union. So what happens, this is a GDPR violation at the moment that the data goes from here to ChatGPT, and that can be hundreds of thousands of dollars or euros fine. So don't do this before you go through certain things, and we can do this safely, but I will show you how. So first, we go to the European Union AI Act. This is a new law. It's actually this year. It has been activated in small steps. It started already in 2024, and beginning of this year, it activated another part, and this year another part, and I will go through it. So European Union wants to regulate AI systems, and this applies both providers who create the systems, like Google, for example, but also deployers, us, companies, users, when we are operating in European Union market. This apply also to Norway. Also, although you're not part of EU, you're part of the EEA, the Economic Area of Europe. So this applies also to Norway. And there's a risk-based approach. So there's 4 different levels of risks based what can happen if everything goes wrong. So, and this is more from the ethical side of and protecting people. This is not about data security that much. This is about don't do bad. Don't do something that's evil, for example. It's more like ethical use of AI. And this is a good thing. Many people said, oh, no, European Union is regulating, we cannot innovate and do anything here. This is only a good thing that we have a European Union AI Act. So there's 4 different levels of risks, and the highest one is prohibited applications. This is unacceptable risk. We cannot do this in any case. In Europe, you cannot manipulate people, you cannot do emotional recognition, and you cannot do social scoring. This means that we have tools, we have had those around 5 to 10 years, that we can, through video, we can detect your facial, from your face, we can detect emotions. From voice, from the sound waves, we have done a little study about this also in previous, in healthcare. From the voice, we can detect emotions, and also there's some biomarkers in your voice and so on. So basically, and what we have heard that in China, you are allowed to do that. You are allowed to do social scoring, how you behave in the social media. Are you smiling enough? Are you happy enough? If you're sad, if you're not posting enough in social media, positive notes, then in a kind of dystopian society, not saying China is that, but they can do that. But in European Union, we don't do that, and that's only a good thing. Then there's high risk application. And you, as a travel company, you don't have to, you probably won't do anything like this. The tools that you're using don't allow this, so you can well, I'm not saying you don't mind it, but that's something that's probably out of your scope. High risk applications, these are regulating if people can access, for example, services. When you're applying for bank loan, you're applying permission to enter the country, for example. In European Union, we can of course move here as we please, but if you want to apply for citizenship, if I want to move to Sweden and I want to get Sweden citizenship, AI can be used to make the decision, but that's a high risk application. And there are a lot of requirements for high risk applications. It has been documented. The system needs to be registered in European Union official database. That will be affected this year, end of this year, and so on. Only thing here that might apply travel companies and companies in the Nordic is processing job applications. So basically, if somebody applies to your company, you have a seasonal employees, you put a job application, there will be 2,000 applicants. They will send the job applications for you. You have the curriculum CVs there, and you think that, oh, there's so much work. I know I saw that the guy showed an example that you can put it all into ChatGPT and it will score all the applications. This is a high risk application. You shouldn't do that. That's a violation for against the AI Act. And you need to document the process. The system should be transparent. You should be able to explain how the data is processed. And you cannot do that if you use ChatGPT, Copilot, Gemini. Those are so-called black boxes. We don't know what is the logic behind those applications. We don't know how, if there's 5 applicants and this one is scored the best. We don't know if it's because of their skin color, if it's because of their name, their origin, their age, their gender. So they might be biased and they might be and that's why it's a high risk application. We don't want AI making false judgments. Other 2 risk levels, limited risk application. These are in travel contexts, mainly chatbots. if you're going to put chatbot or AI agent in a website, there's a requirement that you need to disclose. You need to inform the users that this is AI that you are talking about. You might think that well, that's silly. That why people know that they're talking about with AI, but that's not true. We have had customer. We made a chatbot already 2 years ago for a customer in Finland, and they said that there's a small text that you are talking with AI. But they had this chatbot customer, their customer from Central Europe, started talking with the chatbot. They had a long conversation, and later in the chat logs, our customer, the company, their CEO went there and looked at the history conversation, and they saw the whole conversation. It was like many pages long. They had a long conversation with the AI, and at the end of the conversation, which was like half an hour, the person in Central Europe said that, can I get your manager's contact information? This has been the best customer service that I have ever seen. That you're so helpful. You have been so helpful. I want to thank personally your manager. And they didn't know after half an hour that they were talking to AI. And this is a good thing for technology, that we can make this kind of human-like agents, but it's wrong, it's ethical, and it's against AI Act. So customer always needs to know that they are talking with AI, if it's AI. And then there's minimal low-risk applications like games. You might have some kind of AI systems there. There's no specific rules here. So if something out of this AI Act for you to take with you to your job, processing of job application, don't do it with ChatGPT or Gemini. You need to use proper tools for that. There are tools for that. Usually they are in the recruitment software, but you need to also check that that recruitment software applies and complies to AI Act. And otherwise, if you're using chatbots, do inform that people are talking with chatbot AI. So most use cases go here. So that's about AI Act. It's pretty straightforward for travel companies, for our customers. There aren't that much to kind of burden your mind, so you can take it easy. If there's a use case that when you start using AI, you can check that, okay, here are the high risk cases. Do our use case go under these high risk cases? And these are like biometric identification, AI application in robot assisted surgery. Probably you're not doing that, so you're good to go. Here's a short use case table. There's a AI application area that in travel companies might use. Company creates content for websites, social media. This is minimal risk, no actions required. Creation of images for sales materials using AI, minimal risk, no actions required. But it's a good practice to inform customers that the image is AI generated. And also there's the ethics and the brand value that we talk about on Monday. So that's something that to keep in mind. If it's a chatbot on website, limited risk, inform that they are talking with AI, and then this application analyzing job application, that's high risk, and then there are different requirements. Okay, then moving forward, intersection with the GDPR. So when the AI processing becomes personal data processing, and this is the not saying hard one, but something to there's a lot of information here. So keep your hats on, and well, this is also interesting. So basically, many AI systems use or generate personal data, like we have talked. We might collect leads with the chatbot that in the website. We might analyze customer registry for customer segmentation, like I mentioned, for marketing, segmented marketing, for example. We might have video surveillance also in the hotel premises, or HR wants to do analysis of skills, retirement, absence of, or salary levels, like I mentioned. So if it has personal information, then GDPR, which is General Data Protection Regulation, then it applies. So in most cases, it applies. And there are 7 key concepts that needs to be taken care of. And this is kind of a checklist. When first you check, is there personal data? Yes, if there is, then there's a checklist to go through. And these 7 principles are important to just cover. So we need to have a reason, kind of law or reason why we are using the personal data. It has to be justified. We cannot collect personal data if we don't have a legal right to do it. For example, in order to book a trip for you, I need your name. That's a legal right. In order to you want to collect people's fingerprints, for example, for your new fingerprint operated lock. So then it's a legal right to collect those fingerprints in order to make the locks open, for example. So there's a legal reason. So then when you collect the data, it has to be limited for the purpose. So if person books a trip and you collect their name, their address, you cannot use that data to another use case. You cannot start sending spam or marketing messages for them unless you ask permission. So it has to be specifically for that person purpose. And this is a tricky one. I know that people don't obey this rule mostly. People collect the information and then it's there and then we use it as we want. But according to GDPR, you should always ask permission that, okay, we collect the information for your booking, and in order to communicate with you, we need your email. And then you should ask, can we also send marketing message for you? So you might tick the box that, okay, you can also send me. So then the customer gives permission for different use cases, and all these different use cases, you should put the box where they can make the marking, tick the box. And also, if you want to do AI analysis, for example, then there should be one box for that. Also, data minimization, only collect data that is strictly necessary for the purpose. You cannot collect data that is not necessary. And for example, somebody is booking a trip with your company and you're asking, what is your hobby? You might need that hobby information. Or do you like white wine or red wine? That might be a good information for serving the customer, but at the same time, it's unnecessary for the purpose of booking. So, and you might want to collect that data in order to do the data analysis and customer segmentation, but the GDPR says that you shouldn't unless you have a purpose. And then there's accuracy. Data must be accurate, kept up to date. Storage limitation. You cannot keep this data as long as you will. There needs to be some kind of reason, and the reason is only for the period of the customer that it kind of is connected with you. Of course, they might come back next year to your facilities or year before that, and then there should be some kind of, for example, every 3 years you will empty the old customers there. And here are a few examples how to comply these principles. So when customer comes, you tell the guests exactly how their booking data will be used, and you also write this in privacy policy document. And also purpose limitation. Don't use contact details collected, for example, customer query to add them in marketing newsletter, and so on. So these key concepts are for you to check that, okay, yes, we are minimizing the data. Yes, we don't store it indefinitely. We will delete them after a certain period of time. Okay, we're good to go. this is good to know these key concepts, but they don't kind of you can still go on. You can use AI, you can use customer data, but these are good to bear in mind. And if you can minimize the data, inform how the data is used, and those are a couple of the most important ones. Any questions at this moment? If no, let's move forward. Another thing in GDPR is that the data needs to stay in European Union physically. So there are two options. Either the data stays in European Union, which means that the company needs to be in European Union. Basically, it needs to be German or in Sweden. It doesn't matter if the data is in European Union, if it's in my cleaning closet there, if it's owned by Microsoft, then Microsoft has the capability to take the data out of my cleaning closet. So basically, the company who owns the data or who saves it, they need to be in European Union. Or we must ensure we have so-called adequate safeguards, that we are handling the data as if it was in European Union. So there's two things there, and that's a different thing. So the GDPR requires personal data not to be transferred outside European Union, for example, United States, and without adequate safeguards. And these safeguards are actions, they are technical actions, but they are also contractual actions. So both technical and contractual, which make sure that the data is handled as if it was in European Union. So we have set the bar, we have set the kind of quality measures that this is the level that we want the data to be handled, and these safeguards European Union, United States Data Privacy Framework, so-called DPF, and the standard contractual clauses, which are approved by the European Commission, are ways to make sure that data is handled. Although it goes to United States, it is handled as it would be in Finland or Sweden or in Norway. And this means even though the company is United States, it's a chatbot tool, it's a Gemini, it's a Copilot, it's a ChatGPT, it still the GDPR, the personal data can be sent to that tool if they comply to these requirements. Hopefully, I explained that in a way that you understood it. The main message is that keep personal data in European Union, or ensure the data is processed as safely as in Europe, it would be in European Union. So those are the two things. And this second part, this ensuring the data, this you need to check from the company. So you need to check if OpenAI, if Google is processing the data this way, or don't use personal data. You can always anonymize the data. You take away the personal data, and that when you do this, it's no more GDPR. GDPR don't comply then. So that's a good way, and I would always try to first go with the third option, move the personal data to anonymized data. So then you don't have to have this hassle here. This is the main thing in this GDPR part. But let's say you want to analyze personal data, you just need to do that. Then comes so-called data protection impact assessment. This is a hell of a hard word. It's called DPIA. And this is a tool to evaluate the consequences and risks when you're processing personal data. So what could happen? It's a process where we go through the use cases, we go through the data, and what could happen if everything fails? What could happen if we take this customer data, this employee data, and we put it in this tool, what happens and how can we avoid those things to happen? How can we handle the risks? This, in some cases where we have done AI tools for hospitals, this process has been 6 months. I have met lawyers, in some cases 8 times, happy 2-hour, 4-hour meetings, very fruitful. And then in some cases, it's like 2-hour, 1 hour going through the documentation and documenting it. And this is important. It's you need to think this as proportional, meaning that small companies don't have to do a half a year process. It's a very easy and quick process to do, and it's some questions that you need to answer. But it's good thing that you have done it, because if something bad happens, then you should be able to say that, hey, I did this. Because if you haven't done the DPIA and the data goes somewhere where it shouldn't go, the fines will be probably higher than it would be if you have done everything according to the law. So this is required when there's a high data protection risk and personal data. So it's not always. So if there's personal data and AI, it's not, you don't have to do DPIA always. You need to do it only if it's high data protection risk. And I'm going to go through when we have the high data protection risk, when you need to do it next. But before that, we will have, I will show you, and I will send you after the webinar tools, practical resources from European Union, where you have templates for this templates for DPIA. And here's one from European Union. This is a sample DPIA template for smaller companies. So here are a few questions. It's not big document. There's like 7 pages where you identify the need for this data protection impact assessment. In Finnish, this is tietosuojan vaikutusten arviointi. Not sure what it is in Sweden, and definitely not know what it is in Norway. But you describe the need, why you need to do this. You describe how the data is processed, how you will collect data, how you will use it, how you will store it, how you will delete the data. Just a short description here. For example, we need to collect customer booking data, customer CRM data, customer complaints data in order to analyze them with AI so we can improve our services for these customers and do direct tailored marketing, for example. And you can say that we will collect the data, we will put it in safe GDPR compliant software, which is, for example, Copilot or ChatGPT, and we will delete the data after this is done in half a year. So process description here. And then there will be data that is included there, and also the risks. What are the risks? And here, so you identify the risks and what are the likelihoods and what is the overall risk and how are you going to reduce and avoid those risks? How are you going to eliminate the risks? It's not a big thing. For a simple use case, it might be 1-hour job. Don't use, you can start using ChatGPT to fill this, but I would suggest that when it comes to law and things like that, then try to do it by yourself. So you if somebody comes and asks, you know exactly what to answer. And here, the last one. Small and medium companies can use simplified versions. So we apply proportionality, meaning that bigger companies, bigger use cases, they need to do it more thoroughly. And I can show you, this is in Finnish, unfortunately, but this is what we fill when we sell to municipalities, for example. So this is Finnish. This is the standard document template for DPIA. This is empty, and you can get it from Finnish Information Security Office. So you describe here what are the data, where are you handling it, why are you handling, reason for it, is there a law or reason why to handle, what are the data security ways, how do you make sure that the data is handled, who are handling the data, and what are the rights of the people, and what are the threats, and so on. And then there are a lot more here. So this document here is usually something that are then filled with lawyers, and it might take a bit more time. So you don't have to do that. You can take the easier way if you are a small company. If you're a big chain of hotels and so on, so then you might need to have some kind of compromise between these. Good. Let's move forward. Hopefully you're still on board. We're gonna go pretty soon for use cases and exercises. So here's a quick checklist. When does a tourism travel company, small or medium company, require this DPIA? First, you have to check, does GDPR apply? Are you handling personal data? And yes, if you're European Union or EEA, European Economic Area, I think, meaning Norway, you are GDPR applies to you. And if you're processing personal data. What is personal data? That is customer name, any information that can identify person, name, email, phone number. Well, allergy information, well, actually it shouldn't be probably there, but IP address, meaning the address where I contact, for example, your website. If you're saving that somewhere, that is identifiable information. Even if I have a tattoo on my hand, we have discussed this with the hospitals and the camera solution, AI solution. Basically, if you have and your face, if you have a picture of face, that's of course personal data. And if you have a tattoo, you might even identify people from that. So that might be personal data. So first check that if GDPR complies, then when is this data protection impact assessment required? Not always. It's not mandatory for all personal data. It's based on risk, and it's conducted only if there's a likely to result a higher risk to the rights and freedoms of individuals based on GDPR Article 35. And so what are the high risks? I'm going to go through those risk levels. I think it was here. Yeah, the risk levels are here. So you need to, there's a suggestions, there's a 9 criterias that needs to be checked. And if at least 2 of the criterias are kind of a red light that they are filled, so then you need to do the DPIA. It's not in the, I understood that it's in the GDPR law. It doesn't say that it's exactly 2, but this is something that needs to be then decided. But this is kind of a suggestion that at least 2 of the following criteria. So first, profiling or scoring. If you're doing customer scoring, automated profiling, then that's one reason. So customer segmentation, you're making scores for customers based on their, I don't know, wealth or their buying patterns or something like that. If it's automated decision making, probably well, denial of service, for example, bank loans, or dynamic pricing based on the customer behavior. So if I have been first segmented as a not so good customer, and I will be given dynamically higher price than my friend. So then it's both profiling and scoring. It's both automatic decision making. So there's the 2 reasons, and now we need to make DPIA in this case. Systematic monitoring, for example, camera surveillance or AI camera surveillance. It's a one criteria. If there's a sensitive data, highly personal data, this is health data, ethnicity data, allergies, things like that. And then there's large-scale processing. If there's thousands or hundreds of thousands of people, maybe in travel industry, travel business, it would be a big hotel chain with tens of thousands of customers. If it's small company, there's hundreds of customers, it's not large scale. It means big, huge companies. If we want to combine the data from different sources, booking system, social data, social media data, well, if there's, for example, booking system data and customer review data, customer feedback data, and maybe some other source. So we have different sources, and the customer has said that you have my permission to book, save my personal information for the booking system. And maybe they have given permission to save my data for the customer review and customer feedback system, but they have not given permission to combine this information and do analysis. So that's matching of or combining data sets, which is one requirement, one criteria. There might be data concerning vulnerable data subject. This is especially children's data, and innovative use or applying new technology solutions, something that are not we are not accustomed to. We don't know what happens. And AI is definitely one of these. So, and where the ninth one? Yeah, processing which prevents data subjects from exercising right or using service or contract. Yeah. So these are criteria, and if at least two of these are fulfilled, then the DPIA should be done. And this is something to kind of checklist to go through. So DPIA
can I have
not require. Yeah, if there's question, please do.
Yeah, I would have one question because I'm just like wondering, like, does it refer also like to marketing campaigns? Because like what I'm thinking that if someone is just setting up the profile in Meta, either it's like Facebook or Instagram, they already agree to share their details. So when we are using like the advertising like Meta ads panel, they are using their data, profiling and so on, but this is kind of like agreed by the customer who made the account, or that's what you were talking about. It also refers that we also have to have because we run paid campaigns.
I would say no. I haven't in any circumstances been in a situation where we should do DPIA if we do Meta campaigns or whatever Google Ads, and the customer has given permission, like tick the cookie agreement and things like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, these are more of a handling data in a massive volume, like taking all the customer. If the customer would be in your database and you would have their booking data, and then you would combine that data to their cookie or website advertisement data, and you would know if you would get that data from Meta, so you would know which articles or advertisements they would clicked. If that data would be possible to combine with the booking data, then that would be in this area.
Okay, thanks.
But so if you're doing, well, actually this here, if your basic booking system, collect name, email, booking details, you don't need DPIA. You collect newsletter lists for marketing. Customer gives their consent, they agree that you can collect that. Same with the marketing with Meta or other source tools. You don't need this. It's personal data. It's under GDPR, but you don't need this DPIA. Or if you collect food allergies in small scale for individual customers in order for you to serve them, so they don't die there, so then that's okay also. It goes under this criterion 4, but it's not large scale. So the risk is not high and you're good to go. But then when should you do this DPIA. Here are a few examples. Let's say you implement CCTV, which means camera surveillance, covering all hotel common areas, and you actively monitor that, you save the data. So there is things you're doing monitoring, you're doing that in large scale. Or second, you have a spa wellness center, you systematically and large scale collect thousands of people's health information in order to give them tailored treatment programs. So in that case, it meets this criteria 4 and 5, which are sensitive data, highly personal nature, like health data, and you're doing that with large scale. And maybe if you want to use AI in order to give more health suggestions for them, then it would be also the criteria 8. So here are just a few examples, or which I mentioned also, you're using, for example, fingerprint recognition. I don't know if there's such a thing even, but yeah, just an example. So as a rule of thumb, if you're using new technology where you process personal data, that there might be significant risk. That this is something that you can use your kind of common sense also. Is there a big risk here? And if there's a smaller chance, low risk, you don't need to do this formal DPIA process. But important thing is you can also anonymize the data, like I said, when there's no need to do DPIA. So here's what you can do. Let's say, or how to avoid GDPR and this DPIA. Anonymize the data. So you want to analyze here, CRM system or booking system. You have the customer name, you have the address, you have the city, you have age group, you have calculated some purchased activity, have they purchased activities, go into the Husky rides and so on, have they stayed in your facility, what's the expenditure and so on, maybe the invoicing data and so on. You want to analyze this data with Copilot, ChatGPT, Gemini, and so what to do? Either you need to go to the checklist. Does it apply? Does DPIA apply? And you need to check that the data stays in European Union and so on. Or easier way is to remove the personal data. Now it's anonymized data. No one can know who this row here presents or who is this person. Now you can do a lot of analyzing how customer behaves, what they have bought, why they do this, why they do that. What you cannot do is get the data back to you don't anymore know when you do the analytics. You cannot reverse this process. That's why it's anonymized. So that's usually my suggestion, and this is something that we go through with the customers when they have idea, we want to do this and this analyzing, then we first check, can we remove the personal data, and then it will be much easier. And also, this is important when you're selecting the product that you want to use AI with, because the different license model behaves differently. And some of them comply to GDPR, so they are safe enough. Some of them are not. And this is kind of the big picture, or what do you call it, general rule of thumb. So here we have Copilot and ChatGPT as an example. Both of them have free version, and also ChatGPT has the plus version. With the plus version or free version, we don't make agreement with OpenAI. With the Copilot free version, we don't make agreement of data processing with Copilot. So that means we basically give the data that we hand to this system to ChatGPT and Copilot and trust that hopefully they will don't behave bad and use that in a way that we don't want it. But there's no contractual binding. There's no contractual binding that they need to do anything. So they can do basically, if we think risks, they can do whatever they want. But with the paid license, then there's data processing agreement. If you have the business and team version with ChatGPT or with Copilot, you have the company account that you are using. So then the company has made agreement with Microsoft or ChatGPT, and there we have European, either the data stays in European Union or there's equivalent data security. And just I will show you ChatGPT pricing, just ChatGPT pricing. So I will show you that this is, why is it in English? I want to translate it here. Okay, so here is ChatGPT pricing, the different license, and there's the free version, then there's the plus version, which I'm now using, and here is the business version and enterprise version, and these are for the companies. It's a bit more expensive, not much, $5 per month compared to the plus version, but what is important here, these are the technical and contractual ways that they guarantee, by contracts, they agree that we are handling the data as if it would be in European Union, as if the company would be from Sweden or Norway or Finland. So these are the technical ways, the safeguards. And these comes only with this license or this license. So basically, that means when you are selecting which license to purchase, which license to use data, you need to check the license agreement and the features that are included there. So what to take out of this? If you're using free version or plus version of ChatGPT or free version of Copilot, then personal information should not be entered into that tool, no matter what. But then if it's these tools, then GDPR complies, and they comply to GDPR, and they are more safe. And that doesn't mean you still might need to do the risk assessment and the DPIA. Okay, let's have a couple practices. If there are questions, please do ask. And I have a couple exercises for you. And first scenario is targeted marketing. So we want to analyze a hotel chain, wants to analyze with AI existing customer registry and ordering systems, booking systems. The goal is to combine customer purchase history, what services they have bought, where they have stayed, when they have stayed. Then we want to combine that to basic demographic data, hometown, age, gender, and then also customer feedback information. And then we want to use this for targeted marketing purposes. So here's a use case, here's a scenario. You know what data is involved, where are they using that? So what you should ask from yourself is, what is the European Union AI Act criteria? What is the risk level? And is there personal data? And actually, it says wrong here. It should say AI Act risk, and then what is the DPIA criteria. But yeah, let's answer these questions. You can also write there in the chat or shout out, but what is the European Union AI Act criteria? Well, this is limited or low risk because there's no, that we're not preventing anybody going anywhere. We are not doing job applicant analysis. We're not doing credit risks and things like that. We're not manipulating people. So it's a limited or low risk. We're good to go. Is there personal data? Well, definitely yes. So GDPR, we need to consider that. We need to consider those checklists, those key criteria of minimizing the data. We need to inform the customer that the data is used like this. We need to document that into our data policy. But then, do we need DPIA? Do we need the risk assessment? What are the risks here? So let's go through. We are doing profiling and scoring. So the criteria number 1 is there. We want to do these kind of segments: ski holiday families, luxury weekend guests. So basically we are scoring people based on their behavior. So one criteria is yes. And let's see, okay, there might be large scale because this is a hotel chain. They have a lot of hotels, maybe across countries. So if it's a small, thousands of customers, few thousand customers, not so much. But if it's like a international hotel chain, then this will be done in a large scale. And then we're matching and combining data sets. There are a lot of different systems, and the customer haven't given us probably permission to combine our information, and that's why it fulfills criterion 6. And 8, we're using AI, innovative new technology. So basically, there's a 4 criteria out of 9. So definitely the DPIA is needed in this case. Or I would at least suggest that you will do that one document. It doesn't take you much, but that's something that is important to do. Also, the reason why this is important, you collect all this information from the customer, you put it in system, whatever system that is, AI system or some analytics system. If there's a data breach and somebody goes there and gets all the information, they will get a lot of information from that customer, their behavior, what they eat, their dietary, if they get some kind of booking, your restaurant information and things like that. So that can be very vulnerable. So we're protecting the people, like I said. So this is important also in that sense. Any questions about this scenario? If not, okay, then next one. We want to put chatbot in our website. Hotel chain. This morning we built a modern AI chatbot, and we want the chatbot to answer customer questions, give suggestions for itineraries, collect leads also. If customers interested in our services, we want to collect their names. And we train the chatbot. We're going to give it data from our website and other public documents. So again, ask yourself, what is the AI Act criteria? Is this low, limited, high, or prohibited? Is there personal data, and does it need this risk assessment? And here, European Union AI Act, it's limited risk, and like I mentioned, we need to inform users that they are talking with AI. It's checking the box. It's just short information in the bottom that this is AI that you're talking with. Is there personal data? If we collect leads, yes, there is. It's same as if you have a website and if you have small form there, give your contact information and we will be contacting you. So then it's personal data. So GDPR applies then. And then we need to check that the tool that we are using, the chatbot, complies to GDPR. Okay, and does it need this data DPIA? What are the risks? So the risks there is, I would say, low risk. There's not massive amount of customers. If there's tens or hundreds, that's not massive amount. This is more like similar to contact form in website. I would say this DPIA would be not necessary. You can do it. You can always do it if you want. That's for your protection, but it's, I would say, not necessary in this case. Okay, let's go for the third one. Is HR wants to analyze employee info, and travel company, HR, human resource, wants to analyze employees' salary levels, absence of leaves, sick days, and age structure to plan retirements and recruitments, and also analyze if there's something wrong with the teams. For example, if there's some problems with the management or team leader or something like that. This is a typical thing that I have done many times with bigger companies with the HR, and I know that they are doing this with business intelligence, data analytics tools. and it's not that rare analytics thing to do in a bigger company where you have like 5,000 employees. So again, things to ask: what is the AI Act criteria in this case? So I would say it's a limited risk, because if we don't kick the employees out because of this analytics, if we would do that, then it would be a higher risk. But we don't. Let's assume that this HR analytics here is doing just, they want to improve the employee satisfaction. They want to analyze that when they hire somebody, so the salary level is in the right level, so they are not doing bad. So I would say it's limited risk if there's no automated decision making and things like that. Is there personal data? Well, definitely yes, this is highly personal data. This is also very secure data, meaning that there's an absence, for example, absence information. But so, does it need DPIA? What are the risks? So there are, of course, a lot of risk in this case. So did I have it here? Just a second. The screen doesn't update. Yeah. So we're depending on the company size. If it's a small company, there's no large scale processing. But if it's a big company like 5,000 employees, so then this criteria would be applying. We're matching, combining data sets. Basically, all the data could come from one system, HR system, but then again, it might come from different, and the data sets are different. Salaries, leave of absence, age, maybe some other things. So it's kind of between if this criteria is relevant. We are using also innovative new technology, AI, and also we are talking about vulnerable people here, the employees. They are kind of in the hands of the company, and there's also very kind of personal information which is actually missing here. There should be the personal information. So it's definitely DPIA is needed if you want to do this kind of analysis. Again, you might just take off the personal information there, because this is very valuable information if you have hundreds of employees, and you can get a lot of information that you need to manage your company out of this kind of analytics. And I assure you, but if you take you need to ask, do you need the personal information? Do you need that it's Mary or it's John that has this salary or has been absent? So that's a question to ask. So shortly, any questions at this point about the scenarios or any other things? I know there's a lot of information here. It's a bit both technical, and then there's law jargon, a lot of criteria and so on. So feel free to ask that, okay, I didn't understand anything. Can you start all over again? And yeah, if there's any questions, please do. No. Okay, case studies. And are there any European Union examples of penalties? There isn't that much. There's a lot of big fines, but usually these penalties are for big companies. There's one article here, Germany, and they have. I can show you. There's like these are big companies, and they are big fines. Meta, 1.2 billion euros for. This is the biggest GDPR fine ever issued already in 2023. They transferred data collected from Facebook users into United States, and yeah, that's all. Amazon, 746 million. So these are big companies. There's Meta, there's TikTok here. Here, TikTok has done something, and basically they have collected personal data of children under 13-year-old. So the fines, the sanctions are in proportion of the company size. So usually it's from the yearly revenue, some percentage of the maximum amount. They look at the size of the misdoing, how many, if it's 100 million users compared to 500 users, and also what's your revenue, and have you done it by accident, or have you done all the necessary things that I have now mentioned here. There, I didn't find any examples from travel where there has been fines. If you know some, please do send a message there. There is one from Finland. This is quite recent, and this is example why you need to take this serious. So this is verkkokauppa.com. It's an online retail store here in Finland. It's one of the, or not that one, sorry, verkkokauppa.com. So this is an online store here in Finland. It's like our Amazon or yeah. So you can buy stuff here. So what they did, they had 856,000 euros, or almost 9 million Swedish crowns, sanction of GDPR violation. And what they did, they stored the personal information too long. So some customer bought something from them 5 years ago, and their personal information were still in the database of Verkko, this shop. And they didn't anything else. So you might think that was that bad. I don't know. It doesn't seem that bad. They didn't sell the information anywhere. They didn't use that information to misuse that information. They didn't give that to advertisement purposes. They just stored that too long, and almost 1 million euro sanction. And this is not a global player. This is not TikTok. This is not a Amazon. So this gives you kind of a concept of what the fines might be. So it can be quite rather big, and you don't have to do anything kind of bad in order to get them. And also there was another thing. They also, if you did a purchase there, they required creation of customer account, it says here. So people couldn't purchase anything from there without creating customer account. And the data protection ombudsman said that this shouldn't be allowed. People should be able to purchase something there without creating customer account. So this is kind of one of the biggest example and rare examples where there have been fines. And European Union AI Act, that's a new law. There hasn't been any cases concerning that. Only cases that I found have been is about GDPR. Okay, so we still have 15 minutes, but I think we can wrap it up because this is a bit hard subject, and I have that feeling of that there's a lot to digest here. And let's leave a few minutes to conversation also and have a discussion. Hopefully you will have questions, but kind of as a summary, European Union AI Act, this is risk-based classification. You need to be transparent. Say if you have a chatbot that this is AI. There are some use cases where you cannot use AI, manipulation, scoring, deception. This is quite clear. And usually you don't have to care about this. Otherwise, if you don't try to manipulate people. And then the GDPR and DPIA, this is for the data protection. We want to protect the data, and you need to ask consent, permission from the customer, and there needs to be purpose. And based on that, we need to select the right tool that complies to this GDPR. So select those license and those tools that handle the data as secure as it would be in European Union. So yeah, here few key takeaways at the end. The environment in regulatory environment is evolving, and we have a lot of opportunities from AI and from data analytics, for example, but we need to do that responsibly. So AI Act, know your risk category, GDPR, ask permission, document how you use it, minimize data. If needed, make the DPIA. It doesn't have to be massive process. And also my suggestion from Monday, do create internal AI playbook, meaning internal policy, how you are using data, which tools, which data can be used in which use cases. This is the best thing you can do. And when you do it, then you can train your staff to use AI safely, responsibly, and also effectively. So this is from the Monday. I will attach this building the AI playbook into this material. This is a process where you go through your use cases, define use cases for AI. You define what data is needed. You define rules, which tools can be used, which data can be used. Do we need, which license can be used? Do we need to anonymize the data? And also we will define the ethical, or you will define the ethical guidelines and human oversight. And this is kind of a visualization of that end document. That's all from my side. Thanks a lot again for participating in this webinar. And hey, we have some time. If you have any questions, please do ask. I'm happy to help. And if there's something that I cannot answer now, I'm sure to find out it and get back to you. Thanks a lot.
Excellent. Thank you, Ville. Yes, indeed. This was a ride you took us on with, and I will have to say that on my behalf, there are definitely parts which need to be revisited by myself. So this was very comprehensive, and at least on my side, I have to say those were very valuable examples what you gave out. So that really brought together the more how to say technical part of everything. But now, my dear participants, you'd have the golden opportunity to ask if you'd have anything on your minds from Ville. Let me again see if there's something within the chat. Not at least yet. Also a very good example of that big online retail store about the fine. For some time, I think that we have been quite, how do you say, not like this has been so far away, all of these penalties maybe, because that's true. I haven't seen those being in action, and now that they have, it is true that we really need to take these things into consideration. And within tourism and travel, as we are dealing with a lot of data, and including people's personal data as well, sometimes it is easy to forget how much of the data we actually store and collect from people when they are, especially when they're booking online, and with all of the different systems and softwares we are using in our everyday lives nowadays.
That's true. And one thing to mention is that my feeling, understanding is that European Union and the local officials, like the data protection official in Finland and other countries, are now activating, and they are moving more strongly in these cases, and the fines, the sanctions are quite big. So, and they know that they need to be big in order to companies to really start thinking this data security more thoroughly. But yeah, my feeling is that they are activating now, and most companies, to be honest, have been kind of well, that's something that the bureaucrats have thought that no, that doesn't kind of touch me, or it doesn't. I'm not part of that. But then, in case there might be even case that there's a data breach. There has been, at least in Finland. There's a hotel where it wasn't their fault, but the information system provider didn't take good care of their booking system, and all the customer information was stolen like a year ago, and it was a lot of press, negative publicity for the company. Everything is now good. They handle it very well, but in those cases, there might be the officials might notice that, okay, they might inspect, have you handled the data correctly, and they might kind of in that instance start investigating that, okay, how much data you did have here. Okay, actually you have customers here from 10 years ago. So even though you were part of a data breach, somebody did bad for your company, actually you might get fined if the officials find out that you have been, for example, storing the data too long, like this verkkokauppa.com here.
Precisely. These legal acts and all of the regulations, they are obviously to protect us and give us good guidelines not to be of any harm to us, even though it might give a gray hair here or there. But that was a very good example as well. And from that, Ville, from your comment, I can circulate back on our Monday and Tuesday our session together with Nikki Pagels from Nordic Tourism Collective, and she's a Tech Matters lead there. So in the chat box, you can see our YouTube channel's link where you will find all of the AETC Tech Week recordings. So you can hear on Nikki talking about the cybersecurity and the data breaches. So if you have any hesitations there, Nikki gave a really good checklists for you guys how to prevent and do your utmost best to prevent those within tourism and travel sector working environments. So a very good precaution to take to check your cybersecurity factors, that they are all in order, but then also do the checklist with this particular theme, what we have today with Ville. So with these two toolkits, and to get you started, that's excellent. And yes, this is recorded and you will receive it, so you can then go back to those examples and to Ville's presentations later on as well. Okay, no raised hands and nothing on the chat box. But no worries. I also put on the chat box our website link for Arctic Europe Tourism Cluster. And as a reminder, in this very same link tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock Swedish Norwegian, 10 o'clock Finnish, we are going to meet Ville again with a different topic tomorrow. So hope to see you online tomorrow as well. And that is actually our final session for our AETC Tech Week. Altogether, 8 webinars this week. You've done an awesome job participating. With these words, Ville, once more, a heartfelt thank you for this important information for all of us.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, everyone, for participating, and thanks, Marika, for organizing. So hopefully we'll see you tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock in Finnish time and 9 o'clock Sweden, Norway time. See you then.
Perfect. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.
Bye-bye.